This is Dagestan, a region in the Caucasus known for its many great fighters. It has created fighter Medov and Islam Makhachev, and it is known as one of the toughest regions in the world. And I am traveling to this place alone. Welcome to 7 days in Dagestan. I am now at the airport. I'm on my way to Makhachkala, Dagestan. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm a little bit nervous. You know, a lot of people were saying I shouldn't go. I kind of stopped telling people just because of the reaction, and I really want to show what it is like to train as a foreigner in Dagestan. I was first going to be flying from Amsterdam to Istanbul and then from Istanbul to Makhachkala. Due to current sanctions, there's no direct flights to Russia, so you have to do a layover, for example, in Istanbul. After having a delay on my first flight, I ended up being just in time, 2 minutes before closing, and I catched my layover, and then I was on my way to Makhachkala. I'm in the car right now. Boarding was the only thing where I was a little bit uncomfortable. Other than that, it went well. It's understandable during, situations that's going on that, something like that takes a little bit more time. But I'm in the country. I'm going to the apartment now. Alright, I'm going to give you a quick tour of the facility. This is called the Athlete Hotel. This is where, if you're an athlete, you come in, train through MK Wrestling. This is where you're gonna stay. This is the entry hall. When you walk through the first room, you get to the kitchen. Here you can cook and make everything that you want. Here you have the bathroom, and then when you walk upstairs, that's where the bedrooms are. This is the first one. This is where I was sleeping, and then you have another one here, which has 3 beds. In total, the hotel has about 6 beds. We're going to the first real location. Let's go. I'm excited. I stepped into the car and I was told that for today there was not gonna be a training. First we were gonna do something else, and then tomorrow there was gonna be a training. So that meant that my first goal for this video was going to be to complete my first training. But to make sure that I do everything what I want to do here in Dagestan, I made a checklist. I want to do a training in the mountains. I want to go to Habib's restaurant. I want to go to Ankalaev coffee shop, horse riding in the mountains, buy a papashka, and compete in a wrestling match. I guess I'm gonna be on a horse now. I have no idea. I don't know how to ride a horse. If I die, this is gonna be the end of the series. But before we continue, when I booked this trip, I had less than 10,000 subscribers. I took all the money that I had and put it into this trip. Right now, the channel has 20,000 subscribers. It's been growing extremely quickly. I have a dream of hitting 100k subscribers. So if you can like and subscribe, you will help me out so much. Thank you. And one moment you're on an airplane, and the next moment you're on a horse in the middle of nowhere in the mountains of Dagestan. I don't have a lot of experience on horses, and these ones were extremely massive, and that's why it didn't go so well. I almost fell off my horse. My horse was going crazy the whole time, so I got off. I'm not risking anything. I'm here my first day. I'm not gonna fall off a horse here on my first day. Although it was quick, I had horse riding checked off. Was not good.
Okay, normal.
The man you hear laughing is Murat. He's the head coach of MK Wrestling, and for the next 7 days he was going to be showing me around Dagestan.
I almost died on a horse.
I think I was on for like 15 minutes and then I was done. I was like, yeah. Now he's just laughing at me. And then we were off to the second location. Again driving through the middle of nowhere, and we ended up on a farm. I guess I'm now officially in the mountains of Dagestan. Quite an experience. Sheep? It's your sheep. Ah, it's your sheep. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, it's been a little bit nerve-wracking so far. I didn't feel that comfortable. I really thought to myself, like, what am I getting myself into? Of course, it's not nothing. People always say, oh, 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. It's like almost a joke, but I'm actually here. I'm actually in Dagestan. I'm actually gonna train here in Dagestan. So the whole thing, of course, is kind of surreal, where it's like I'm doing something that most people have never experienced. And I really like that. But it's also, I would lie if I would not say that it's a little bit scary. I guess this is what you call a rude awakening. You know, I was just relaxing. Today was gonna be the plan to train a bit later today, and out of nowhere there was like boof, 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 and we're gonna wrestle, I guess. I was brought to a university campus, and this is where my first training was going to take place. We walked through the gardens, through the backyard, and then we found the sports hall. We arrived late and the training had already started, so I had to quickly put down my stuff so I could start joining the training. I had to do my own warming up a little bit, and then we started training. In the first couple of shots, the lighting and the shots are going to be a little bit off. I found that out a little bit later, and then I changed the camera angle, so this is only for the first couple of shots. After that I have some really cool shots. We started training, and here you see me doing my first technique, stepping inside from the single leg takedown. And then in the back you could see two of the better ones. They were twin brothers and they were wrestling against each other. Both of them were absolutely amazing, super athletic. It was just a joy to even watch all these guys wrestling. Such a beautiful takedown there as well. Then it was my turn to go up against one of them. Here you see me coming up against him, shot for a takedown, didn't get it. That's something that you're gonna see quite often. Most of my shots were very far out. I could not even get close to a leg and they could already defend it and see it coming. Then it was up against the other brother. Once again, shot in for a takedown, didn't get it. Once again, shot in, didn't get it. I went through, tried to maybe get the back leg, also couldn't get it. And then my MMA instincts kicked in, wanted to go for the choke, but of course that doesn't work in wrestling. The first drill I had to attack, and now it was his time to start attacking and go for the takedown. That took him about 2 seconds to get me down. I tried to play it off a little bit, but he just had a really good takedown. Then once again he shot in, another takedown. I could really not do a lot against them. I really tried my best, but it's really hard when guys are so much better than you. They see everything that you do coming, and whenever they do something, they just set me up and then they get a beautiful takedown. This was probably my favorite one. We're gonna see it one more time. Arm drag to the back leg. Such a beautiful takedown. Here, going low, gets an easy takedown. I try and post, but that doesn't work. And then he ends up getting the takedown again. And that was going to be the end of that round. Here you see the twin brothers coming up against each other one more time, trying to find a takedown, and then a beautiful lateral throw gets him down and a takedown. Then it was time for sparring. I was really eager to prove myself. I wanted to show what I could do. We started in the clinch, looking for the takedown, going low, going high. I shot in for a takedown. I got kind of close to the legs, but he could move himself out of it and then put me to the ground, tried to pin me. Then it was his turn. He shot in for the takedown, ended up getting me down, and then again tried the pinning move, get my shoulders back onto the mat. I shot in for a takedown. I was getting a little bit closer than before, but definitely not good enough, and that ended up being the end of the training. I really enjoyed my training. It was really tough, but such a good experience. Now I have to walk home and I don't have internet. So Murat said it's 5 minutes to walk home. But he says with everything that it's 5 minutes to walk home. So it could also be 20. I haven't had anything to drink. I need a coffee. I need something to eat. But at least the weather is nice. When people think of Dagestan, they think about mountains, but they had really nice coffees, just extremely good. They have coffee shops everywhere, like really nice ones, like modern. So I've been using Yandex, which is an app here, which works a lot better than Google Maps. You can download it, so that's been working really well. So that's been my way of navigating. Food only costs like 500 rubles, which I think is about 5 euros. I'm not entirely sure, but it's not a lot. And with that done, I had my morning training completed. My first training was done. I did my horse riding, first training complete, and then for the next episode I was gonna do something massive. I'm gonna have a new episode every single day, and tomorrow's episode is going to be insane. I'm going to have 2 trainings and then something insane happened at the end. So make sure you watch it. See you guys tomorrow. Hoes. I am in Dagestan alone with one goal in mind, to show you what it is actually like to come to Dagestan and train there. Today I'm taking you with me to show you what it is like to have a Dagestani training camp like Khabib or Makhachev. We are going to be having 2 very intense training sessions, one MMA and one wrestling. So get ready for 7 days in Dagestan. Alright, we have an exciting day today. We're gonna start off with some wrestling. I do feel sore. It is what it is. I don't really can do anything about it. I'm definitely gonna eat something small before training today. Yesterday my first meal was around 1 or 2 I think in the afternoon. But I've come prepared today. The goal for today was quite simple, finish both trainings.
And got myself another coffee to start the day.
I was once again feeling quite nervous, and this time I was going to the training alone. The morning training started at 10, so we got ready onto the mat and started with the warming up. The warming up was always quite similar, a lot of running, a lot of exercises and a lot of shoulder rolls. Then we did some mobility, make the body ready, and then we were ready for training. However, I was alone, so that was a little bit unfortunate, but lucky for me, that did give me the chance to also have a quick look and make sure that I could film. Usually I'm always training, so now I had the time to film some exercises. Here they were doing some fun exercises where you have to be really quickly, and then somebody else arrived and I could join the training. We did some finishing moves today. You get your opponent down and then you have to make sure that you can pin them. For me, this was all very new. In MMA and in grappling, of course, we don't have this. It's very wrestling specific. But before we continue, 90% of you guys have not subscribed to me yet. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers. So if you can like and subscribe, you will help me out so much. Can we get 3000 likes on this video? And then we immediately started with sparring. This was their last day before heading out for competition. So there's going to be a lot of sparring today. You see them coming in for a double leg, he gets it quite easily. Then I try and go for the double leg, he sprawls out of it and then moves around. I was shooting quite a lot today, I was trying my best, I really wanted to prove myself after yesterday's training. Of course they were all still very much better than me. Here I shoot from very far away and then he had no difficulty moving me around. Then again he shoots in, I was a little bit too late for that sprawl, I could have done a lot better over there. Then once again try and shoot in, but that was more out of desperation, and then he tries the pinning move that we tried before, but I could stop it this time. Here you see me trying to sprawl, doing a little bit better than before, but then even though I tried to flip in wrestling, that doesn't really work. So that was the end of that round, and then we're gonna do one more, again against the same person. He shoots in, very beautiful takedown, and that round I couldn't do a lot more. That was training number 1 complete, 1.5 hours done. Really tough training again, but I feel I did a little bit better than the last time.
2-3 years Dagestan and forget. 2-3 years? Man. So now we know they don't know the meme here. 2-3 years Dagestan and forget.
I decided to hang around after training. Of course we don't speak the same language, so it was really hard to talk to each other. But for that we had Google Translate and that managed to work pretty well.
Wow.
Football, watch?
Yeah. Ajax. Ajax. Amsterdam, yeah, Amsterdam.
You bet orange.
They wanted to know why I was in Dagestan. I got that question quite often over there. They don't get foreigners that don't speak Russian often, so when you come there and you try and highlight the culture, they would really appreciate that.
Years old.
Huh?
Years.
Years old? How many? 18. Down? 17. Really? He's 17 years old. This is like the Nigerian passport. You have to say 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. 2-3 years
2-3 years.
Dagestan
Dagestan
and forget.
and forget.
Yes. And with that, another wrestling practice was done. Because they left for competition the next day, this ended up being the last time I trained there as well. But I had a really good time.
Really nice guys. Had a really good time. Talked for like more than 20 minutes. I felt kind of nervous this morning about everything. I don't know, every time we do something I kind of still have a little bit of nerves. It is before the afternoon. I've already trained and then tonight we're gonna have a second training session.
And so it was time to head home. And that was only a 10-minute walk. Hygiene is of course very important. Staph infection, ringworm, very common unfortunately in gyms. So far everything has seemed very clean, very good. After every training, twice a day, I take a full body shower, everything, just to make sure that I don't have any problems. Just did that, relaxed a little bit, charged up, and now I'm heading into the city. Whatever they say about Dagestan, about it's unsafe or whatever, I can just be here alone, film myself, everything, no problem. I found a different place today and got myself some food, a hamburger. I think I deserve a hamburger after all my hard training. I'm ready to head to the gym. Once again, I'm feeling nervous. I haven't been to this gym yet. We're gonna do MMA, which I haven't done here yet as well. So the nerves are starting to kick in. I had the same this morning and then it went really well.
Murat picked me up and then we headed towards the gym. It turned out that the gym was about a 2-minute walk away from the apartment. That was one of the good things about the apartment I was staying at. It was so centrally located, everything was close. Every gym we went to was about 10-15 minutes maximum. There was a lot of food places, coffee places, everything that you need, supermarkets, everything was really closely located. We started with the warming up. Most gyms in Dagestan I felt like had the same warming up, which is not crazy that you do the same type of warming up. I just felt like they took it very seriously. A lot of gyms kind of skip over warming up, but here in Dagestan, warming up was something very serious. Then it was time to start with the first exercise. I thought we were going to finally do some striking, but no, of course the first hour was purely going to be wrestling training again. It is Dagestan after all. Murat was the one giving the beginning of the training today. I don't think he usually does that, but because he was here today, he did give it for this training, which for me was good because I could get some extra attention. Every place I went to, I kind of got a lot of attention and a lot of extra work. Like I said, they don't get foreigners a lot. So when you come in, especially maybe with a camera, but you come in and you come and train there, they really wanted to help me. Everybody was extremely nice. So here we see me doing the training, helping me inside takedown, and then one more time, getting it this time a little bit better. Then we continued with the next exercise, a judo throw. That's a technique I really like. I'm not sure why, but for today it didn't really work. I tried it a couple of times, but I wasn't really smooth with it. Here you see it doing it again, not the best takedown. And then after that we had done wrestling and then it was time for some MMA sparring. We only did 1 or 2 rounds. Here you see me coming up against, I think it was one of their fighters. I wasn't sure, I can't really ask them or really speak to them, but it seemed like he was one of their fighters, so we did some sparring. This was my first time sparring in 3 months. I really had to warm up again, I really have to feel the punches coming. When you don't spar for that long, your reaction becomes a little bit slower to the punches, but I think I did pretty well. And then I thought the training was done, but in Dagestan, training is never done. We had to finish off the training, first with some exercises. For me, this was not very good for my injury, so I tried to do it a little bit slowly, making sure I could at least finish the training, but it was kind of acting up again. Then we were doing the plank. It was a mixture of 3 exercises. You did it for a certain amount of time, back to back to back, then you had a quick break, and then we had to do it again. I think it went on for almost 10 minutes. You see the coach stepping in because I was stopping here and there because of the pain. Of course, he didn't know I was injured, that's not his fault, but he had to step in a little bit, which I understand. You see him pushing me a little bit harder again, making sure I get the most out of this training. Then I thought it was finally done. No, we had to stand up, more punches, more moving around. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then I thought it was finally done, but no, I had to put my gloves back on and it was time for some pad work. Of course, this was really nice, they didn't have to do this, so I was really grateful for that. But at this point I was so tired, I could barely keep my hands up. My punches here are in slow motion. I don't know what was going on, I think it looks decent, but this is not how I usually strike. I was so tired at this point, but I really wanted to continue, make sure I get the most out of this. You see me doing some blocking, some defense, moving around, and then he shot in for a takedown. Somebody decided to step in front of the camera as well. He ended up getting the takedown, and that was the end of the training for me. I was really dead at this point. I couldn't move, I had to lay down a little bit and relax. But with that, training number 2 was done. After training they sat me down and they gave me some tea, which was really nice. Every place I went to, everybody was so nice, everybody was really welcoming. They always would give me tea or something else, they would talk about stuff. Of course we couldn't really communicate, so it was usually through Google Translate. But Dagestan is extremely welcoming, every place you go to it's insane. I was being fed with tea, with snacks, with sugar. I don't know what I was getting, but whatever they were giving me, I was not gonna say no, so I was just taking everything I could.
That's pretty good after training. A bunch of sweets. This is really good.
Man, this was really tiring. I was like, what have I gotten myself into? Like, I almost puked, pushed through, finished the training. And with that, training number 2 was done. I have done 4 hours of wrestling the last 2 days and 1 hour of MMA. I feel my injury acting up. We're gonna have a special training tomorrow because we're gonna go someplace that we haven't been yet. We also have a couple more things on the checklist to do. In tomorrow's episode, I'm gonna show you more of the city of Dagestan. I'm gonna give you a quick tour, and then after that we are training at one of the most elite gyms in Dagestan. See you guys tomorrow. Oes! I am in Dagestan to show you what it is actually like to go 2-3 years Dagestan and forget. The region of Dagestan has been marked red by almost every government with the advice that it's not safe for travel. That's why today I'm heading into the capital of Dagestan, Makhachkala, alone, just to see what it is actually like. After that, I'm training at one of the most elite gyms in Dagestan. And to finish the day, I'm having dinner at Khabib's restaurant. Welcome to 7 days in Dagestan. Alright, I'm gonna head out now. There's still a couple more things on the to-do list that I need to do. I am extremely sore, my legs hurt, triceps, my back, everything is sore. I have to be careful with my money, because if I don't have money anymore, I can't buy food because I don't have access to my money. That's why today the goal is to give an actual view of Dagestan. I had my breakfast and then headed to the city square. I was told this is the most important square of the city. This is where all the government buildings are. But for me, I was actually heading to a different place, but I just had to walk through here. Then you also have the Opera Hall, which is extremely beautiful. But then I went to Uncle, that you might know from Instagram. It's Ankalayev's own coffee shop. I went in and I got myself a nice coffee. The place looks really good. Then I went in and bought myself a cappuccino. And the coffee was absolutely amazing. Dagestan has absolutely amazing coffee. It's insane. Then walked a little bit further and I went into a bazaar and I ended up buying some gifts, and I'm going to show you that in a second. And then to finish off, I walked through the park, and it wouldn't be Dagestan without Khabib on every corner. And like you saw in previous videos, I never had any problems. The only time I ever had a little bit of problem was in a taxi, that the taxi chauffeur was talking about dollars, you're a tourist. Other than that, never had any problems. Everybody was extremely nice and it felt like a far cry from the red zone that it was advised to be. Alright, I just got back. I'm gonna show you what I bought. Really important for the checklist. I got it done for the checklist. I'm not sure how I'm gonna fit it into my suitcase. And then I bought some other things. I bought this nice little figurine. I bought a tea set and then a mouthpiece because I didn't have one, and then some other souvenirs. It's time to go. It's been a slow day today. Training, once again, I'm nervous, a little bit less because grappling I feel kind of comfortable in, but it's still training. And then again I had Murat picking me up and bringing me to the gym. Every place we go to, it's always a 5-minute walk. 5 minutes.
5 minutes. 6 minutes.
Ah, okay.
Every day, чуть-чуть, и вот так.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. A little bit. And once again, the gym was really close to the athlete hotel, which was nice. But before we head into the gym and start training, DAZN is streaming one of the biggest fights of the year on November 15th, with Chris Eubank Jr. facing Conor Benn for the second time. The first fight was the fight of the year so far, and once again they will face off against each other. You can get a 7-day free trial to DAZN if you click the link in the description. When you walk into the gym, you immediately know that you're in for a very tough training. It has that vibe, it has that rugged feel to it. And I wasn't wrong. We started with the warming up. Once again, the warming up was almost the same at every single gym, but here we also did abs in the warming up. I don't think there's a single gym in the US where you do abs in a grappling warming up, so that was new for me. To be honest, it's not only in warming up, also after training. Abs I feel like is almost forgotten in grappling or in jiu-jitsu. Then we started with the training, and of course once again we were gonna do wrestling. It is Dagestan after all, but after wrestling every single day for a couple of hours, I was kind of excited just being on my back and maybe doing some triangles or something like that. But no, I had to stand up and even more wrestling. We did the same takedown here to the back leg, which is not my best takedown. One more time, looks really bad, but we tried it, and then after that it was time to do some positional sparring. I shot in for a takedown and I managed to get it. All that wrestling training was not for nothing. Then he shot in for a takedown, and here you can see some takedown defense. Takedown defense in grappling and jiu-jitsu is a lot different than in wrestling, so I felt a lot more comfortable here. Once again he shot in and I managed to defend it, and that happened for a couple of times. During wrestling training I just got taken down every single time, but when it's grappling you can do just a couple more things and I just feel a lot more comfortable. Managed to defend the takedowns, and then once again shot in for a takedown, but here it was a little bit wide and I didn't get it. One more time he shoots in, I defend, and I was in a better position. I was feeling myself going for the leg lock position, but I didn't get it over there, and that was going to be the end of the round. My body was falling apart at this point, but we had to continue. Then we did a drill that I had never seen before. You had to do this for 3 minutes, and then after that it was my time. I'm not gonna show you everything, but it was a really tough drill. After that we immediately went into sparring. The person you see me training with was the only person in Dagestan I found the entire week that could speak English. You see me going in half guard position, going for a choke. I didn't get it. Waiting patiently for a better position, trying to move out, trying to pass from the outside. Once again, trying to get inside, then went to the outside instead, going for the Dars choke. If I couldn't get it, I could have also went for the guillotine, but it didn't work. And then here's some Prit Mikkelsen defense. If you know, you know. Then in top mount position, showing my MMA skills. He managed to push me off, and then we were back in a neutral position. And then now I decided to work from my back, throwing up my legs, throwing up submissions, which I like to do. And then once again I tried it, and I had the armbar, and he tapped. That felt really good. In training I was destroyed at this point. He was actually a really good grappler, but I managed to find the armbar, which was really nice. What however was worse for me is that after that I had to come up against a guy they would call the Destroyer. So I knew I was in for a tough challenge, but of course I'm not gonna back down from a challenge. We decided to stand up and we started wrestling. One grip and I knew I was not gonna wrestle with him, and I decided to just pull guard and see what was gonna happen then. He moved in and he was really fast, he was strong, he was athletic. Also the sweatiest guy I've ever trained with. Like, really nice guy, but he was extremely sweaty. It was like training with a wet blanket over me. Now inside control, and then he went for the north-south choke, which is like, you know, being waterboarded with all that sweat, and I had to tap, not because of the sweat but because of the choke. Then I thought maybe I can go for a leg lock instead of a choke, but he was better in that position as well, so I had to escape and make sure my leg was not gonna break. I managed to escape, and then I decided one more time to go for the choke, Dars into the guillotine. I thought this is my chance, I only had the neck, but he managed to roll out, and that was when my camera died. So that's a little bit unfortunate. He ended up tapping me 4 times with the north-south choke, so it's probably better that that wasn't all on camera. Then after that we had some nice shots and a little bit of relaxing before, of course, we had to continue, because in Dagestan training is never done. I had my nice Destroyer friend next to me. He was pushing me, making sure I would finish the training. My body was absolutely dead at this point, but lucky for me, somebody else would like the spotlight, so that was really good for me. We went into the camera. Every place I went to, I keep saying it, everybody is so nice, people are funny. It's really nice training, the vibe is so good in every single gym. And then training was done. The Destroyer gave me the handshake of approval, and I knew that I had completed my training.
The only person so far that speaks English. I've been here 4 or 5 days, the only person that speaks English.
Once again I stayed behind to talk to everybody. Lucky for me this time I didn't have to use Google Translate, because I had somebody that could speak English as well, so he could translate it for me. I hope you can hear me. There's a lot of wind and my microphone died. Really nice people. Again, every place I've been to, everybody's been extremely nice. Somebody even offered to drive me home. Yeah, really funny people. After I get home, I changed myself, and then I was ready to head out. A quick walk through the city center. Here once again the Opera House, but this time at night. It was extremely beautiful, such a beautiful big building. And then we went to Papashka, Habib's restaurant. So I got everything. I ordered like kakali, I think it's called, like a Georgian dish, and then some other things. First I ended up getting domadakias, which is one of my favorite, and then I got kakali, which I never got, but I really wanted to try it. I wasn't sure how to eat it. I was in a restaurant, so I was trying to be nice about it with a fork and a knife, trying to cut into it, but that didn't really work that well. So I just decided to take a big bite, and then all the juices came out, and I tried to do it another way. Not the perfect first bite. I'm gonna try and bite into it. I think this was supposed to the way to do it. And then lastly I have some steak as well. It's a little cooked, but so I'm not sure how you say it. Spasibo jedabila ochen foroche, I guess. Okay, I panicked. Shit. Here you get to know something more about me. I have really bad social anxiety. When I don't know people, I don't know, I just get silent. I just don't say anything. So that's something to at least work on these trips, is to, you know, become a little bit more social and a little bit more out there. So because of the sanctions, they don't have Coca-Cola, they have Evervus Cola. It's really cheap, it's 2,730 rubles, which is like 20 euros or something like that. It's really cheap. And with that, I finished a great day, and I hope I have given you an actual view of what Dagestan is like. In the next episode, it's time for MMA sparring. We headed once again to Universal Fighters for one of the toughest training of the entire series. And after that, I'm giving you a tour of the city, but this time I'm showing you every important place that you need to go to for when you come to train in Dagestan. I am in Dagestan to show you what it is like to go to 3 years Dagestan and forget. Today I'm learning more about the history of Dagestan, a tiny republic that has forged fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Islam Makhachev. Then I'm heading back to Universal Fighters for MMA sparring day, in what turned out to be my hardest training of the series yet. Welcome to 7 days in Dagestan.
Today is day number 5. It is almost the end.
And before heading back to Universal Fighters for the training that ended up breaking me, first we headed back into the city of Makhachkala, stopping for breakfast. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to eat anything. That was because I ended up getting sick. And I didn't know it yet at this point, but I ended up having a stomach infection that kept me out for 10 days. So I knew I was in for a very tough time. That was because I was keeping a secret. One of the last things on my checklist was to compete in a wrestling match, and I managed to organize it for tomorrow, my last day in Dagestan. That meant I had to compete looking like this. But if I wouldn't head out, there wouldn't be an episode, so I had to get over it and go to the museum.
Look at how massive Russia truly is. We are currently there, and this is the entirety of Russia. And I think we have arrived at the museum. Let's head inside and see what it's all about. They also let me in for free. I'm not sure if it's always for free. I'm not sure exactly what I'm seeing or what I'm doing, but it looks interesting. Well, everything is in Russian, so I can't understand exactly what it says. I'm gonna try and make sense of what's going on here.
So how about I tell you more instead? Dagestan is a small republic in the North Caucasus. The region was almost impossible to conquer. In the 1800s, the Russian Empire tried it for decades, and Dagestan fought back under the leader like Imam Shamil, a man seen by Dagestan as a hero and whose picture you still see all around the city. But eventually, in the mid-19th century, Dagestan was brought under Russian control. To this day, Dagestanis still see themselves as citizens of Russia, but not as Russians. Their identity is Dagestani first.
I mean, if this is free for everybody, that's insane. Other than the fact that I don't understand it, but you know, whatever you see, it's really impressive.
The culture is deeply Muslim. Discipline, humility and respect are values that aren't just taught, they're lived. Wrestling became a tradition long before MMA existed. Then combat sambo layered on top of it, which eventually led us to fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Islam Makhachev.
So I've not been here long enough to tour you around the city, but I'm going to show you a couple of places that I've been to that I really liked, and some other places where if you come to Dagestan, this could be really interesting for you.
Almost every single morning I got breakfast at this place called Safran. That's where you see me every single day. And then for dinner, for example, you can go to Papashka, the restaurant that I went to before, that you saw in the last episode, which was amazing. It is a little bit more expensive than other restaurants, but still it's very cheap. Then for coffee, for example, Ground Coffee is the place that I went to because it was very close to my apartment, but they have coffee shops around every single corner and the coffee tastes amazing. In terms of activities, for example, you can go horse riding. It works a little bit better if you know how to ride a horse, or the museum that I just showed you was also very interesting. Maybe a visit to the local mosque, which is next to the museum. And then you also have the bazaar, which is extremely big and very fun to walk around in. After the series is completed, I'm making an extra episode where I explain how to join a training camp in Dagestan. That is something that you have to plan beforehand. So I'm going to give you a full guide on how to organize a trip to Dagestan. But in the series you've already seen some amazing gyms, for example the wrestling gym, the grappling gym and Universal Fighters. And lastly, there are convenience stores around every corner so you can get everything else that you need.
My body has decided that enough is enough, but tonight is going to be one of the hardest trainings I've had so far. But I know if I give up now, then I will regret it for the rest of my life. I have to prove myself that I can do it.
Alright, let's go. I'm trying to hype myself up, but it's not really working, but I have no choice. I was walking towards the gym and everything and my body was saying that I couldn't do it. My body was exhausted, it was sick, it was hurt, but I knew I had to continue. Some of the fighters had already started training and I knew I had to prove myself that I could do it. But before we continue, 90% of you guys have not subscribed to me yet. I'm trying to hit 100k subscribers by the end of the year. My channel has been growing extremely quickly, especially during this series. The support has been absolutely amazing. If you can like and subscribe, you will help me out so much. Thank you. We had to do our own warming up and then we had to do the first exercise where you move around in a circle to try and make yourself dizzy. When you're already feeling sick, that is the last thing that you want to be doing, but I did not have a choice. A little bit of shadow boxing and then we started with the first exercise. My training partner for today was extremely good. He was a really good MMA fighter and wrestler. You see him trying the first takedown and you can already see that he knows what he's doing. Of course, this is Dagestan, so most of the people know how to wrestle. Despite my body falling apart, I feel like my wrestling was starting to become a little bit better. And then we were doing a Russian Thai, but I was fully focused on the pants, so I forgot exactly what we were doing. So then when it was my turn to do the exercise, it didn't go that well. I blame the pants in this case. Here you see me trying the takedown around the body and then taking him down. Then it was his turn, this time to shoot in, and we were going to do takedown defense, and positional sparring had started from the takedown. My takedown defense was becoming a little bit better in my opinion, so that was good. And then we headed into the cage to continue with positional sparring. From the single leg, I had to try and take him down. My body did not really want to work with me at this point. We were 30 minutes into the training and I just could not get the energy to continue. I was more fighting with myself than with my opponents. Either way, he was taking me down fairly easily. Here you see him passing into side control. And then you have my desperate attempt to try and walk away and get a little bit of a breather, but he catch me and we had to continue training. Onto the single leg again. We started, I tried to take him down, but he could defend it fairly easily. A good sprawl by him, and then when we stood up, he also had a better position there and he managed to shrug me off. Then it was his turn and he took me down in about 2 seconds. I feel like I could have done a lot better in this training if I wasn't feeling sick. Here you see me trying to explain to him that I prefer grappling than wrestling, but that doesn't help me in this position. Then again on the single leg, head inside, and he just shrugs me off and puts me on the floor. And then I try a little bit of grappling to control him, but it didn't work. Then he takes me down again, and then it was time for some striking. We did a couple of combinations and this was the first time in an entire week that I did a kick here in Dagestan. It was a lot of striking, but of course mostly wrestling. Coming in left hook, right low kick, and then continuing with positional sparring, this time on the wall. He tried to take me down, he got my right leg, he moved in and then he flipped me over and got the takedown. Then it was my turn to try and take him down. He managed to escape and my body was done. I was so dead at this point, but I was going to finish this training even if it was going to take everything. Giving up was not an option. I was going to finish this training. Another fighter training here at Universal Fighters is a heavyweight, a Dagestani heavyweight MMA fighter, and he is absolutely amazing. If this guy one day gets to the UFC, he's going to be a real problem. He got elite wrestling, grappling, striking, and he is extremely strong, as you can see here, just taking anybody down with ease. I'm not sure what his name is, so if you guys know it, please let me know in the comments. I'm really interested to follow the rest of this guy's career. It was my turn to continue training, again with some striking, a jab, a low kick, a mid kick, moving around a little bit. Here you see me doing some pad work, a couple of combinations, still a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish, moving around. We were over the halfway point at this training and I was still standing. So that's when I decided to wake up and go hard. Sick or not, I was going to finish this training, and if I would, I was going to do it well. My striking became a lot more sharper, I started to wake up and I was feeling myself. I knew I was going to finish it, and then at the end, of course, training in Dagestan is never done. And then the coach decided that he wanted to become a YouTuber, and then he started filming so I could continue training. I was trying to get the last piece of energy that I still had left in my body out during this training, trying to run as fast and as hard as you can while somebody tries to stop you. And then the coach decided to start vlogging for me.
Чисто тебя снимаю. Это Рамазан, наш мясник. Голландию, если нужно мясо, вот Рамазан.
And if the training wasn't already hard enough, I also had to deal with a couple of low kicks here by the end of the training. Inside, outside, faking me and then coming inside again. But then training was done and I had completed it. I got my post-training tea again, which was nice and of course very generous of them to give it to me.
Kazakhstan?
Kazakhstan.
Ah. It's chocolate?
Chocolate. Kazakhstan.
Once again, I got fed with food, with snacks, this time with some Kazakhstan chocolate and some tea, which was really nice.
Anthony Hunter.
Anthony Hunter. I have a new subscriber. This was my last time here in the gym at Universal Fighter, so I stayed behind, talked to the head coach, Tagir, who helped me a lot during this training. A really nice coach and really nice people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good coach?
Good, thank you.
Thank you. Goodbye. Tomorrow will be the final episode here in Dagestan, where I will compete in an actual wrestling match against a Dagestani. And I had to do this whilst being sick. Then after that, I'm finishing every single thing on the checklist. This is my last day in Dagestan. And after spending a very intensive week on the mats, I'm going to test out my new skills in an actual wrestling match against a Dagestani. And after that, I'm making my last trip of the series, heading to the location that has forged fighters like Khabib Nurmagomedov and Islam Makhachev. Welcome to the final episode of 7 days in Dagestan. In the last episode, you saw how I ended up getting sick. I didn't know it yet at that point, but I had a stomach infection that kept me out for 10 days. But I still had 2 things left on the checklist, and with only having 1.5 days left, I had to continue.
I've slept about 4 hours. I'm getting picked up in an hour. I'm not sure how I'm gonna do this, but I just have to do it. I really want to compete. I really want to do this. I just gotta push through. I'm almost there.
When organizing my match, I wasn't sure if it was going to be a spar or a match, but then I got this response.
It's like a wrestling match. In wrestling, we don't say sparring, we say match, official match.
So I knew I was in for a very hard challenge.
I got some gummy bears. They're easy to eat if I have the strength to open it. I hope I feel better tomorrow when I fly back home. It's gonna be a tough plane ride if I feel like this.
Let's do this. I headed towards competition, but all I could think about was the journey that I've had so far. Taking a big risk, stepping onto this airplane alone, heading towards this far, unknown destination. Spending my first day in the middle of nowhere in the mountains of Dagestan with no phone reception, isolated from the world that I knew, surrounded by people that didn't speak the same language and unable to communicate. Stepping onto the wrestling mat for the first time, coming up against some elite level wrestlers, people that could take me down whichever way they wanted, getting absolutely dominated every second of their training, and despite having a tough first day, deciding to show up to the mat again the next day, just to get dominated even more. But I soon realized that every shot I would miss was not a failure, it was just getting me closer to where I wanted to be. Every shot was another opportunity to get better, and after having a first tough couple of days, I finally found some success. Not through luck, but with hard work and determination. I opened myself up for new experiences, discovering what this country has to offer alone, taking on every challenge. I overcame my social anxiety, talking to people and bonding with them with whom I don't even speak the same language. And despite getting sick and my body not wanting to continue, I decided to keep training because my will and my goal were stronger than my mind, and I knew giving up was not going to be an option. I was going to finish every single training, and every moment that I wanted to give up but still decided to push through was exactly why I was here, to show myself that I could do it. And now for the last time I had to prove myself what I could do and everything that I'd learned. But before we continue, I want to thank you guys. When I started planning this trip, I had less than 10,000 subscribers, and while making this series, I was at about 20k subscribers. My goal is to reach 100k subscribers, so if you can like and subscribe, you will help me out so much. I arrived at a new gym, a place where every Friday the best wrestlers from the region would come together to compete in wrestling matches. Every match was 3 minutes, and when usually the goal is to try and pin your opponent, here the match would continue. The goal was to take each other down as many times as you could. These are some of the best wrestlers in the entire country, and I was not. So I knew that was going to be very difficult. I sat down and watched the first people compete, and they were putting on some very high level performances. Beautiful takedowns, moves like this which I could never do. And with match after match passing by, I knew that my time was coming up. At the beginning of each round, the coach would do the matchmaking, who would have to face who. From lightweight all the way to heavyweight, these competitors were absolutely amazing, and I was eagerly waiting to step onto the mat for my toughest challenge yet. but I was still unfortunately dealing with a very big issue. I feel so sick, I'm just shaking, not from nerves or anything, just from being sick, basically. It's not ideal, but it is what it is. They just asked my weight, so I think it's almost my time to go. I already was almost 30 minutes late, so I didn't have a warm-up or anything. I'm just here and my stomach's hurting, like, I see, once in a lifetime opportunity, so I gotta take it, but it's not ideal circumstances. Okay, it's going to be my time to go after this round. Let's see how it goes. It was going to be now or never. I got onto the mat and was ready for my match. We started in the clinch position, trying to work towards the inside, trying to find the best moment, the right clinch, the right move for the takedown. We were trying to feel for the best moment to finally shoot in, but he got there first and had a beautiful takedown, and it was 1-0 for him. We got back up and we continued with the round. I was waiting, I was moving in, trying to find the right moment, but I was not finding my openings in the first 30 seconds. In the clinch again, fighting the hands, but then he shoots in and my takedown defense holds up. I have the left overhook, trying from the clinch, and then from there I shoot in and manage to get a double leg takedown for 1-1. With more than a minute to go, it was a very tough round so far. Once again I shoot in, but he makes a beautiful move, gets my shoulder blades to the ground, and it is 2-1. Then next time I shoot in, and I get once again the same takedown, a double leg, 2-2. We continue with the round and immediately he gets another takedown, 2-3. It's a very high paced round and then he makes his beautiful takedown, making it 2-4. And I knew with only 1 minute to go I had to put on the pressure. I had 1 minute to make up a 2-point deficit. I shoot in once again from the double leg, I managed to get the back leg and it was 3-4. 30 seconds left, once again in the clinch, and then I finally get my takedown, 4-4. A drill we had to do again and again, but this time I get it in competition. Once again on the double leg and I make it 4-4 with only 20 seconds to go. I made up a 2-point deficit and now with only 10 seconds to go, it was up for grabs who was going to win. Once again in the clinch, the clock kicking down, 7 seconds to go, and I try and shoot him one more time. He managed to get out of it and that ends up being the end of the round. No winner, 4-4. I think I did pretty well, considering the circumstances. I think it was a fun round. I don't think I won, but at least it was good. And with that, even through sickness, I managed to compete in an actual wrestling match here in Dagestan. And I think I did pretty well. I don't think he went 100% power against me, but we ended up having a very fun match and I had a really good time competing here. Then after that I stayed behind and once again talked to the people through Google Translate. Every place I've been to, people have been really nice, talking and everything, so that's always been one of the good things. You know, they're not used to having foreigners come and train here, and you know, they really appreciate it. So yeah, it's a really welcoming place when you come here, so that's good. That night I packed my bag and I was ready for my last hours in Dagestan, and I only had one thing left on the checklist to do, so I went to sleep for the last day. It is the last day. We're gonna go to the mountains. I am still extremely sick. I slept a little bit better today, but I still don't feel good. I stepped in the car on my way to the mountains of Makhachkala. But this is where I had some very bad news. I was still extremely sick, very sick, and I still had a 10-hour journey back home later that day. And with that I was unable to run up the mountains. But I was determined to get up there either way. If I couldn't run it, then I would go up there by car. I don't care how sick I was going to the top of the mountains, because I wanted to know what makes Dagestan, Dagestan. The trail you just saw is the most famous running place here in Dagestan. It is a trail run by fighters like Khabib and Makhachev, up the mountains towards the lookout point. And it's for you to decide if I actually finish the checklist or not. But either way, I did everything that I wanted to do here in Dagestan. And taking my last few steps towards the edge of the lookout point, I knew that I had done it. I could finally say that after everything that happened, I completed 7 days in Dagestan. After that, I headed towards the airport for my journey back home. I want to thank everybody for following me along in the journey. The anticipation for every episode has been absolutely amazing, and I also want to thank MK Wrestling for organizing this trip. I'm going to have a bonus episode next week on Thursday where I explain how to join a training camp in Dagestan yourself. And let me know where I should head to next. My plan for this channel is to travel the world. If there's a different sport or a different fight culture in another country, let me know in the comments and I will head there and make an entire series there. See you next time. Oes.